What's up everyone, and welcome back to the MMA Zone. Today, let's get started with Khamzat Chimaev body transformation. Khamzat might not have a fight booked, but while he awaits on a potential fight with Dricus Du Plessis, he's making sure to get as much training in as he possibly can. Make sure to like the video to help support the channel. In a new video shared online, Chimaev can be seen getting some mitt work in on the pitch. From the looks of things, that wasn't the only training Khamzat managed to do on match day. In another video, he was seen using some grappling moves on an opposing player, who he tripped with a clinch move. On top of getting some cardio in by playing football, Khamzat's clearly been hitting the gym. Between the video of him tossing around the opposing player and pictures of him shared online, he's looking absolutely jacked, with one MMA community member joking that Buff Chimaev is back. Despite Chimaev being absolutely jacked and being a dominant grappler, Caio Barajo believes that he would actually have an advantage if the two ever faced off inside the octagon. During an appearance on the Jackson podcast, Caio explained that after training with Chimaev in Sweden and in Vegas, he's confident that he would have an advantage against him compared to other middleweights.
Actually, I have an advantage against all the guys that should face him because I trained with him for like 5 weeks over there in Sweden and then after in Las Vegas. So I kind of know a little bit of his system and what he wants to do next and what he wants the guy to do next so he can advance on his system. So I think I have an advantage of that because I studied a lot of this. I was paying attention and all that. I was helping him for sure, but was paying attention in everything.
With Caio just outside the top 5 and Chimaev expected to fight for the belt, the stars could align for a fight between the two former training partners. Magomed goes off on Jon Jones and Tom Aspinall reacts. Last night, Magomed randomly decided to go off on Jon Jones through various posts made on social media. Magomed started it off with, "Johnny, steroid machine was very disappointed. I beat Alex, please fight big Tom Aspinall, stop running." Then tweeted a handshake emoji between him and Tom Aspinall. And he went on to quote a tweet from Jon Jones on May 3rd last year and said, "Big onk time, stop running." Tom Aspinall saw these comments and agreed with Magomed by sharing his tweet on Instagram with a handshake emoji. Belal Muhammad is only striking at UFC 315. Belal's wrestling might be the most dominant aspect of his game, but ahead of his upcoming title defense against JDM, the champ's vowing to keep things on the feet. During an appearance on The Coach and The Casual, Bully B revealed that he isn't planning to shoot for a single takedown against JDM. Instead, he plans to put on a boxing masterclass and show fans that he's the best boxer in the UFC.
I'm going to go in there, I'm going to outbox Jack, I'm not going to shoot one takedown, and I'm going to show him the meaning of Canelo hands. I'm going to show the UFC fighters, the fans, that I'm the best boxer in the UFC, the best boxer in the welterweight division. Trust me, you guys want to tune in, don't miss it.
Of course, this past weekend, fans saw Magomed Ankalaev deploy a grappling-heavy approach to his fight against Alex Pereira, after previously vowing to keep things on the feet when the two shared the octagon. Whether Belal winds up doing the same thing or stays true to his word and boxes his way to a win, only time will tell. As we saw in the past when Muhammad faced off against Sean Brady, his unrelenting pressure opens up his striking game, allowing him to land shots thanks to the takedown threat. In the meantime, the champ gave fans an insight into his camp, which is taking place during Ramadan.
Supposed to be Shavkat got hurt, so then it was like next in line, who is it? You know, there were talks about different guys trying to figure out who it was going to be. I said, who has the highest win streak? And Jack was on a 12-fight winning streak. He was coming off of a big win, and he was supposed to fight Leon. He has a big country behind him. He's not the loudest guy in the room, but his fights are loud. They're going to say, oh, his boxing's better than you. Now I got to show him the Canelo hands. For myself, I'm good everywhere. I could grapple, I could strike, I could wrestle. I can make adjustments where these guys can't. He could only win a specific way. I can beat him in many different ways. He was one of the guys that was like saying Belal deserves a title shot when I was on my way up. It's a respectful thing, so there's not going to be anything like bad blood or anything, but the bad blood comes from you're trying to take what I had. I worked hard for this. I myself to get to this belt. It's disrespectful because you think you're going to come into my house and take my belt from me. That's my motivation.
Dana White releases fighter from the UFC. Following a loss to Bruno Ferreira in this past weekend's Pereira-Ankalaev card, Armen Petrosyan has been removed from the UFC's roster. The loss to Ferreira made it 3 in a row now for Petrosyan, who has now become a free agent. MMA Fighting's Damon Martin broke the news on social media, pointing out that although Petrosyan's been removed from the UFC's roster, the promotion could bring him back in free agency after the two sides negotiated a new deal. Armen has been removed from the UFC roster per UFC officials. His most recent fight was the final on his contract. He dropped his past 3 straight fights. Obviously, he can be re-signed, but for now, he's been removed from the roster. The release, of course, comes after the heels of Arman notably getting a point taken away by referee Mark Smith for back-to-back low blows against Vieira. The moment wound up leading to tons of criticism online, leading some to wonder whether the situation might have led the UFC's decision to let him go into free agency, considering how rare it is for a fighter to lose a point during a fight. Arman parts ways with the UFC with a 3-4 promotional record and an 8-5 pro record. Israel Adesanya grappling with Michael Venom Page. During fight week for Israel Adesanya's fight against Nasruddin Imavov in Saudi Arabia, Izzy and Michael Venom Page did a video together for Izzy's YouTube channel. While both are primarily known for their striking, the two were seen getting in some grappling rounds in a new video for Izzy's YouTube channel released this week. Considering MVP's last fight was at 185, the two would probably weigh about the same right now. Despite that, MVP is also pretty open about the fact that his fight with Shara Bullet at 185 was a one-off, and his next fight will be at 170. No word yet on when Izzy will be back, however, that isn't entirely surprising given that the last stylebender said that after his last loss, he wanted to take some time to figure out his next move. In the case of MVP, although nothing's been finalized yet for his next fight, his plan is to stay active through the remainder of the year. UFC updates. Ahead of this weekend's Vettori Daladiz rematch at the Apex, let's take a look at some UFC fight updates that might have flown under the radar, starting with an update to the UFC Fight Night Kansas City card next month. According to Aaron Bronsteter, Mitch Ramirez is out of his fight with Ahmed Hanzadzada. Fortunately, the UFC was able to find a short notice replacement in the form of Evan Elder, who was originally set to fight Markel Maderos this weekend. Elder is in the midst of a 2-fight win streak, while on the flip side, Hanzadzada is fresh off a Contender Series win back in September. Looking ahead at UFC Vegas 106 card in May, Luana Santos is reportedly set to fight Tianara Lisboa in a bantamweight showdown that will see Santos look to bounce back from a loss to Casey O'Neill, while Lisboa will look to return to action after a year and a half away from the octagon. Last but certainly not least, in the way of today's UFC fight updates, it sounds like Paul Craig's prepping for a move back to 205 after 3 straight losses at 185. In a video for social media, one of Craig's strength and conditioning coaches released a video of him giving fans an update on what's next for Craig.
I shouldn't be telling you this, but I'm going to tell you anyway. I was down at Boxing Science today down in Sheffield with Paul Craig and with Mark Ewan, although he's not one of mine, so we don't care about him. But the reason we're going down to Boxing Science is obviously we like to get our test done down there. Why? Because we do it at the start of camp and it allows us to prep for the camp ahead. It allows us to pinpoint specific areas that we need to work on, specific areas that we need to develop. It keeps me right as well, removes me from the testing so that I can make sure that my program and training protocols are working correctly. But we do it at the start of camp, like I mentioned. So that might mean Paul Craig has got a fight, but at light heavyweight. That is right, we're going back up to light heavyweight. Like I said, don't know if I've said this, but I'm saying it anyway, because what's Dana White going to do? Nothing. So we're going back up to light heavyweight. Middleweight was just a bit too much of a cut. We tried it out, didn't work. We're going back to light heavyweight. Can't tell you who we're fighting or when we're fighting, but we'll be soon. Pow.
With Craig having a win over Magomed Ankalaev, light heavyweight might have just gotten even more interesting. Ronda Rousey teases MMA return. Ronda Rousey might not have any intentions of returning to the UFC, but a recent training session with Kat Zingano has proven to be the ultimate tease for the former champ's fans. After having her second child with former heavyweight Travis Brown, Rousey is back in the gym and working on getting back into shape. In a video shared on her Instagram earlier this week, she can be seen getting some mitt work in with one of her coaches, before the video cuts to Rousey and Kat getting in some grappling rounds. Along with the video, she wrote, "Only Cynthia Vance JP could shoot my struggling through postpartum mats and make it look this good. Thank you, Kat, for stopping by and helping me relearn how to move. I forgot how fun it could be." Considering Rousey had said this past summer that she isn't neurologically fit to compete because of concussions, a return to action seems highly unlikely. However, with the UFC getting involved in grappling and promotions like Karate Combat having grappling events in the pit, maybe there's a chance that we get to see the former champ compete in a grappling match if she gets back to training regularly. Michael Bisping says Islam Makhachev versus Ilia Topuria is next. Islam Makhachev's next fight might not be dependent on the upcoming Belal Muhammad and Jack Della Maddalena fight after all. In the wake of reports indicating that Makhachev will look and wait and see how things play out at 170 before deciding what's next, Michael Bisping has thrown out his prediction for the champ's next title defense. In a new video on his YouTube channel, Bisping weighed in on the lightweight title picture.
So realistically, there's a ton of options for Ilia Topuria. But the reality is, Islam Makhachev has got to fight somebody soon. And so does Ilia Topuria. Justin Gaethje wants to fight for the belt, but Justin Gaethje really doesn't give a right now. I think Justin Gaethje is happy, making the phenomenal amount of money that he is, and just going out there and being able to be himself. So realistically, any of those guys that I just mentioned, Islam, Arman, Charles, Justin, any single one of them, and it might be one of them, but it's probably going to be, if you ask me to bet, I think Islam Makhachev versus Ilia Topuria, because
as Charles Oliveira's manager said earlier in the week, he thinks that the lightweight title will be up for grabs this summer. The question, of course, is whether Makhachev's defending the belt or whether the UFC will put together an interim title fight. UFC 317 gets leaked by Khamzat's friend. Rasul Chamsadinov, who is a friend of Khamzat and have been recently hanging out together, went on TikTok live and leaked UFC 317. And let's just say if he's correct, we will have a stacked card for UFC 317. He revealed that Ilia Topuria versus Islam Makhachev will be on the same night as Khamzat versus DDP in June, which is International Fight Week. This aligns with what Islam has been saying for his next fight as well. Khamzat's friend said it's not official yet, but says the official announcement will come soon. Here's what he had to say with subtitles.
On a déjà signé, donc maintenant, faut trouver la bonne date. Topuria, Makhachev, l'équipe. Il y a Makhachev, Topuria, ils vont combattre le même soirée que Khamzat Chimaev. C'est comme ça, en juin. Soyez prêts. Les deux combats auront lieu le même soir pour les ceintures. Ça va être la plus grosse soirée de l'année du UFC. Khamzat contre le champion, frère. Plessus là, je sais pas comment on s'appelle lui. Comme j'aime pas son blaze en plus. Bon, allez, comment ça va? Ça n'a pas été annoncé, mais ça a été dit par moi. Mais bientôt ça va sortir, t'inquiète. Plessus, ouais, un truc comme ça. Bon, allez, comment ça va? Bon, Chimaev et Topuria, les deux, je pense qu'ils vont gagner. En tout cas, je vois Topuria 60% gagner contre Islam. Là, j'ai lâché un sacré info, frérot. Franchement, j'ai lâché une sacré info. Soyez prêts.
It's important to note that Ilia Topuria recently tweeted saying that there's a huge announcement coming out soon, so it does line up with what Khamzat's friend is saying. And with a new president, Khamzat shouldn't have any more visa issues as well because UFC 317 is set to take place in Vegas. Everything he's saying is lining up, but only time will tell. Who do you think will win the matchup if they fight in June? Khamzat or DDP? Let us know in the comments below.